On 10th of November 1938, between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, I heard steps in the garden. When I looked out of the window, 8 to 10 men, SA, were standing, heavily armed with axes, hatchets, daggers, and revolvers. By the time I woke my wife and my 11-year-old son, a man was already in the bedroom who ordered us to go to the basement and immediately started to smash everything to pieces. The washing jug and bowl, mirrors, windows, furniture, doors, etc. After we, which included my sister-in-law and daughter, had been in the basement for a short time, I was called up. When my daughter wanted to come with me, she was pushed back. Somebody yelled at me, "You wretch, you know that since 12 o'clock midnight, you have been declared fair game for us. Give us your documents." By the time I had unlocked the desk, I had received such a blow to the face that my glasses fell off and broke. My right eye swelled up heavily and my pupil was paralyzed. Then I was shoved into a corner and indiscriminately pelted with items of furniture. That I only sustained 3 flesh wounds and no serious injury has to be described as extremely lucky. In the meantime, the entire house was wrecked in the way described above. In the kitchen, every last piece of crockery was smashed. In the basement, my wife was hit on the head with a full tin of food. The women had to smash wine bottles and preserving jars themselves. The mob came after the SA, then the school children. Each party destroyed and stole yet more. By the time my wife got round to packing a few days later, all the wardrobes and drawers were almost completely empty, so that almost all the clothes and most of the underwear had been stolen. All Jewish homes in the community were treated in this or a similar way. In the meantime, the synagogue, with all the Torah scrolls, all the prayer books, phylacteries, prayer shawls, the more than 100-year-old memory book, etc., were also set on fire and burned. The city did not pay anything for the large plot where the synagogue, the bath, the teacher's home has stood, nor for the outbuilding and the garden, since the cost for clearing up equaled its value. The Jewish cemetery was also repeatedly desecrated before and after the 10th of November. On the 10th of November, after the various destruction operations, we were allowed to pack some underwear and clothes and had to go to the railway station through rows of rubble and accompanied by their jeers. Other members of the community were already there, others already left on earlier trains. Some who remained were badly mistreated in the same evening, partly by the SA. In the town hall, the over 70-year-old doctor in particular, who was so upset by it that he took his own life. The remaining Jews had to leave town the following day, which brought the century-old Jewish community to an end. We went to Munich, where I met my brother, who had traveled a few hours earlier. After a short stay, my brother and I were arrested. After various personal details had been taken down, we were taken to Dachau. Examinations were not carried out. We were simply asked, ill or had an accident. However, the sick, the old, cripples, diabetics, and the mentally subnormal all remained in custody. In our barrack, for example, an elderly gentleman who had polio could hardly walk and speak and was incontinent. After the examination, we came out into the open from the warm bathhouse, dressed only in short shirts, socks, trousers, and a cotton wool jacket. We all had to stand until midnight, whether we had been imprisoned early that morning or later. SS men watched us, and if anybody was seen not standing to attention properly, there were slaps around the face and shoves. After 12 o'clock, we were led to the barracks. There we received the only food of the day, tea and army bread. The barrack themselves were split into 4 dormitories. Each dormitory consisted of 2 rooms intended for 50 men. However, they were occupied by 200. The washroom and toilet were accordingly insufficient. I had to stand from 5 o'clock in the morning until the train left Dachau at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, without any other food. According to Aryan prisoners, the whole Jew separation of November 1938, as the matter was called in the files, had no connection with the Vom Rath affair, since preparations in Dachau had been completed considerably earlier. Even whilst I was still in Dachau, my wife was threatened that I would not be released from the concentration camp until my siblings abroad had their mortgages on my property cancelled. In fact, although I was released earlier, I had to sell my house for 14,000 Reichsmark, which had a value at least 23,000 Reichsmark, taking all the warehouses into account. A further 2,500 Reichsmark was deducted from that for damages caused by the SA on 10th of November during their white frenzy of destruction.